My dear students of the second year, welcome in our classroom of the English phonology. I'm so sorry for being so late in presenting this lecture because of some technical reasons. As we have said before, we are going to start with chapter number 8, the subject of syllable. While the previous chapters are going to be presented in the next few days. What is syllable? We have learned in the previous lectures that the phoneme is the smallest contrastive segment in speech, which means that we can divide our speech into segments. The speech can be divided into sentences. The sentence is divided into words. The word is divided into other units, and the smallest one is the phoneme. The phoneme cannot be divided anymore. What is the unit which is directly larger than the phoneme? The answer is that the unit which is directly larger than the phoneme is called the syllable. It is a unit which is larger than the phoneme, but it is smaller than the word. It is the unit between the phoneme and the word. The syllable itself may consist of one or more than one phonemes, while the word consists of one or more than one syllables. If we try to define the term syllable, or if we search for a definition for the word syllable, we can find so many different definitions of the term syllable. Every one of these terms deal with the syllable from a different perspective. For the purpose of our study now, we will adapt the easiest definition and most clear definition of the syllable. It is the definition which says that syllable is the unit of energy in speech. Syllable is the unit of energy in speech. Now, let us try to do this exercise. I am going to pronounce the following words, and I want you to count the number of syllables in every one of these words. Please try to record the number of syllables of every word for the time being. The words are cut, cut, free, free, admit, admit, objective, objective, responsible, responsible. Now, have you determined the number of syllables in every word? Let us see. Now, compare your answers with the answers which are presented here. Cat consists of one syllable. Free consists of also one syllable. Admit consists of two syllables. Objective consists of three syllables. Responsible consists of four syllables. Now you can see that a word might consist of only one syllable, or it might contain more than one syllable. I think that most of your answers are correct. But why do you answer the question correctly? I mean, how can you determine the number of syllables in every word in a correct way while you do not know exactly what is the nature of syllable? We are just in the beginning of our study of the syllable, but you were able to answer how many syllables are there in every word. I think that you were able to answer the question correctly because you can feel that the energy in your speech is divided according to the number of syllables in the words. The energy which leaves your body, in which the airstream leaves your mouth, is divided. The airstream does not leave the body with the same amount of energy all the time. It is divided into units of energy. Every unit of these units is called a syllable. Now, if we try to draw the relationship between time and energy in our speech, we will find that the energy of our speech is not stable. There is a continuous changing in the energy of our speech. Some parts of our speech are produced with high energy, and some other parts are produced with very low energy. And as you can see in the diagram, these units of energy are called syllables. From the above diagram, we can see that the level of energy is continuously changing during speech. That is because when we speak by using a continuous chain of different sounds. And every one of these sounds is produced with one manner of articulation, which makes the energy with which the sound is produced different from the energy which is used to produce the other sound. This means that the sounds in language are not produced with the same amount of energy. Every sound is produced with a certain amount of energy, and this amount of energy is different from the amount of energy which is used to produce the other sounds. For this reason, when we speak and use a chain of different sounds, it is normal to find that the amount of energy of our speech is changing. If we return back to the diagram, we will find that in every syllable there is a peak of energy, or the top of the syllable. It is a unit, or it is a part of the syllable which contains the highest amount of energy. In every syllable, there is a part that have or that contains the highest amount of energy in the syllable. This part is called the center of the syllable. Now, what do we expect the sound which is found in the center of the syllable? By the way, it is called the center of the syllable because the syllable is a unit of energy, and this part of the syllable has the highest amount of energy, so it is the most important part in the syllable. It is the center of energy, it is the center of the syllable. Now, which sound can be found in the center of the syllable? As we have said, according to the method of producing sounds, they are different from one another in the amount of energy they are produced with. And it is found that vowels are produced with energy, with an amount of energy which is noticeably higher than the energy of consonants. And because vowels have more energy than consonants, it is usually that, or we usually find the vowel occupying the center of the syllable. So, the peaks of energy or the centers of the syllables are usually, but not always, usually occupied by vowel sounds. Now, let us summarize what we have said before. First, the syllable is a unit of energy in speech. It is the unit which is larger than the phoneme and smaller than a word. You have to put in your mind that whatever we say, whether it is a single word, a phrase, a sentence, or a whole discourse, our speech is normally divided into syllables. And there is no one sound of our speech which is not belong to one syllable. Whatever we say is divided into syllables. There is a part of the syllable which represents the highest amount of energy. This part is called the center of the syllable. This center is usually, but not always, a vowel sound. The number of syllables in a word equals to the number of vowel sounds in that word, because as we have said before, because the center of every syllable is usually a vowel. So, in order to count the number of syllables in a word, we can count the number of vowel sounds. Remember, vowel sounds, not letters. Now, what is the structure of the syllable? At the beginning, we have said that in every syllable there is a center, and there are two other parts in the syllable. Of course, there is a center, and this center contains the highest amount of energy in the syllable. And this center is usually a vowel. But when we speak, we do not speak in vowels only. We use vowels and consonants. So, the center is one part of the syllable, but we can find two other parts in the syllable other than the center. These two parts are, first, we have a part which is found before the center. This part is called the onset, and it is always a consonant. The first part in the syllable is the center. It is usually a vowel. What comes before the vowel is, and what comes before the center is a part which is called the onset of the syllable. And this onset is always a consonant. Why do we say that? The center is usually a vowel, but the onset is always a consonant. This is because sometimes we find a consonant in the center of the syllable. It is usually a vowel, but sometimes, in very few cases, we find a consonant occupying the center of the syllable. But concerning the onset is always a consonant. There is no vowel which can be found in the onset of the syllable. The part which comes after the center is called the coda. And the coda is also a consonant. Now, there are three parts of the syllable. The center of the syllable, which is usually a vowel sound. Before the center, what comes before the center is a part which is called the onset. It is always a consonant. And the part which comes after the center, it is called the coda, and the coda also always a consonant. Let us take this example. If we take the word cut, the word cut, as transcribed here, consists of three sounds: a consonant, a vowel, and a consonant. The vowel sound represents the center of the syllable. What comes before the center of the syllable, the sound k, represents the onset. And the sound t, which is also a consonant, represent the coda of the syllable. We have to put in our minds that these three elements of the syllable, I mean the onset, the center, and the coda, are not always found together in all the syllables. In some syllables, they are found together. The syllable consists of an onset, a center, and a coda. Like in the word man, the word can, cut, put, but. In all these words, we have the three elements: the onset, the center, and the coda. But not all of the syllables consist of these three elements together. Sometimes we find a syllable with an onset, a center, but no coda. It is called zero coda. Some syllables contain an onset, a center, and zero coda, like the words she, tea, to, see. In all these words, we have a consonant which represents the onset, a vowel which represents the center, but there's nothing after the center. A third type of syllables may consist of a center followed by a coda, but there is no onset, which means that the syllable itself starts with a vowel and ends with a consonant, but there is no consonant before the center of the syllable, as in the words at, am, of, on, and so on. Here, in the word at, for example, the syllable starts with the vowel sounds a, which is a center. This means that there is no onset, zero onset. And this center is followed by the sound t, which is a consonant. And this consonant represents the coda. A fourth type of syllables might contain a center with neither an onset nor a coda. Once again, some syllables may contain a center only. There is no onset and there is no coda, as in the words ah, or, I. In these words, we have only a vowel, and this vowel represents the center of the syllable. There is neither an onset nor a coda. I think that this is enough for our lecture for today. I want you to see this lecture, try to understand it, and later on I am going to send you some questions. I want you to try to answer these questions. By the way, answering these questions will help you understanding the subject better. Thank you very much.